What's going on, collectibles friends? We are back again. It is another day. It is another Collectibles Dad video. Guys, I'm way behind on this channel. I apologize. This is my second channel. My main channel is Sports Card Dad. Taking up too much of my time these days, but man, CGC scandals are a good reason to make a video on the second channel. I have been wanting to get some more content out here, and there's been so much just on the back burner, so I apologize. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like what you hear. We will come out with more frequent content in 2024. All right. Wow, where do I even start? Is it time to sell all of our CGC graded comic books? I watched a couple of great videos today from Swagglehouse Comics and Automatic Comics. I'm going to put links to those videos in the video description so that you can kind of go back and get the full story here. I'm going to gloss over high level the problem that we have and the possible fallout from this sort of disaster. So what are we talking about here? So CGC is the largest grader of comic books on the planet. You've got Beckett, that's really number 2, CBCS, is that the acronym? Do I have it right? But they are nowhere near as far as volume goes. The CGC is kind of way up here, and you've got CBCS that is down here. Still a good grading company, obviously, but CGC is really the main go-to for graded comic books. They've got a great reputation. They've built it over time. And maybe an argument after something like today comes out is, do we need more players in the space? And the answer might be, yeah. I think we probably do need more comic book grading companies to enter into this space and maybe offer some different solutions. So what happened? So what we found here is that somebody out there has been taking comic books out of restored slabs or qualified slabs, and some amazing detective work by Automatic Comics. Swaggle's been doing the stuff too. There's been a lot of online detective work going on, and they figured out that somebody's basically taking the qualified or restored copy, and hell, maybe even other copies that are lower graded, whatever, and getting them in to a higher graded slab, sending them in to get reholdered, because now we've got all the custom reholdering, the custom labels that look really cool. And so now that restored copy, and the one that they used, the example that they used was a Hulk 181. It was restored 8.5 or qualified 8.5, and it was sitting in a blue label 9.0. And then, of course, they've got the 9.0 that was in the 9.0 slab. They can go and get that regraded, and maybe it gets an 8 or an 8.5. Hell, maybe it gets a 9.2. Maybe it gets a 9.4, and they just double up and do amazingly well on both sides of it. But this is a huge problem because we don't really, right now, we don't know the breadth of it. You know, this is kind of like on the sports card side. It's like when you have a trimming thing happen. Oh, there's a seller that has all these trim cards. Well, how many did they sell? How deep does the rabbit hole go? And that's the part that still remains to be seen. And really the loophole, or I guess where the hackers found a gap in the system, was the reholdering service. And so I guess fairly easy for CGC to try to figure this out, because at least they know where the problem is, and the problem is with the reholdering service. So they've got to go back to every single book that they've reholdered, who has submitted them, because it might be one person, it might be 50. We don't know. We don't know how big the cabal is. It might be a cabal of one. Hopefully that's the case. Maybe we're talking about a handful of books that were moved in and out. But hell, the difference between the restored 8.5 in price for that Hulk 181 was about $3,300 going back a couple months, sitting in a 9.0. It sold at $7,100. So you're talking about more than doubling up, and then still having the 9.0 book that you can then move around and do whatever with. So of course the questions, is this something that was just recently done? Or is this years in the making? Have there been 10 books, 100 books, 1,000 books? And until we get some sort of an answer from CGC, there's going to have to be an absolute full-blown investigation. They're going to have to talk about it. They are going to have to talk about it publicly. If it is one of these like behind the scenes, we're looking into it, craziness, it is going to be a disaster, in my opinion, for their overall brand. Now, maybe people turn a blind eye, maybe it's business as usual, but for me personally, if I've got $5 grand, if I've got $10 grand and I'm looking at a big book, I'm putting a pause on that right now because I want to see what's going on with this. I want them to come out and say, hey, we've done an investigation and we found 173 books that could have been impacted, or we found 7 books that could have been impacted, whatever it is. And they need to probably tell us like, hey, we've started an investigation. There's got to be some sort of communication publicly. This is one of those that cannot be swept under the rug. Or I guess it can be, but man, what a disaster that would be. And what a slap in the face it would be to, longtime CGC people that have graded with them over time, the collectors, the dealers that have put trust in this company. It's very important that this is properly done. And it's a lot of the reason why people are making videos. There's a lot of reason why there's IG posts about it. It's a lot of reason why social media gets involved. And a lot of people are like, social media sucks. And sometimes social media does suck. I will completely agree with that. But these are the types of instances where if you didn't have any social media, nobody would know. Nobody would have any sort of idea. If we weren't online, if Automatic Comics couldn't have gone online and looked at the pictures on, I think it was on Go Collect or it was on GPA or whatever, looking back at those past sales and being able to identify that book is the same as this book and now it's in these are different books in these slabs, we wouldn't know. So this being public information is extremely, extremely helpful. And so what does it mean moving forward? It means that we probably need another player or two. In the sports card space, at least you got 4 big companies that are playing there. And, in comic books, and I can't speak for coins, and, I know there's Funko grading and there's other things. A lot of this stuff, video games has got WATA, it's got CGC, and it's got VGA. At least there's 3. But this is going to be a big public relations test for CGC comic book grading. I mean, look, there is so much faith in this company. I probably have 60 CGC slabs. So I don't have hundreds or anything, but I don't have one. I've got a fair amount of CGC graded comics. I love their service. I know that they do a great job. This is just someone found a loophole in their system and they've got to shut down this little scheme, or it could just spiral. And it's got to be something where, there's added security, on these slabs. So much of, it's kind of interesting in collectibles, whether it be trading cards or comic books, there's a lot of, you get a grade, you crack the slab, you send it back in for a better grade. Well, or you get it reholdered. And in this case, it just shows you that, maybe being able to crack the slab isn't so great. And I know a lot of people, they make a living doing this, and they probably would hate for me to say that, but maybe it's something where, hey, look, this thing needs to be in like a titanium case, which of course would be expensive. Maybe there needs to be some added security, especially when we're talking about more expensive books. Maybe there's a completely different casing for books that are 5,000 plus or 2,500 plus or something. I'm not exactly sure what the answer is, but for someone to be able to easily pop one out, pop a new book in, we have the same problem again on the trading card side on occasion. We've seen this happen where there's Michael Jordan rookie cards where it was found to be that there was a lesser graded copy, a crappier copy MJ rookie sitting inside a higher grade slab. It happens. So the big thing here though is that CGC's got to get control over how big of a problem is this, and they've got to get it out to the public as to, hey, we're all over this thing. We're working tirelessly to figure out how we can improve this and make sure this doesn't happen again and shut this down. All right, guys, that's all I've got. Make sure, if you haven't already, check out Automatic Comics, check out Swaggle House Comics. I'll put links in the video description. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.